Alright traders, I'm back again with another video. This time we're going to be talking about the Ichimoku system with a couple pairs that we're looking at, and also go over a few things, probably a couple things that I have never talked about before with the system, and then we'll just analyze these pairs. Alright, so everything that you see on my chart, red lines are going to always be support and resistance lines. It can be either trend line support or horizontal support. The dark blue line is going to be the Kijun-sen, but if you see a horizontal dark blue line, that's going to be the Kijun-sen support level on the daily time frame. And if you see this very light blue lines, these are going to be the Kumo support and resistance lines. So you can see these blue lines right here, and I'll break this all down in a minute. My chart looks kind of clouded, congested right now, but after I take some of these lines off and just basically knowing the system and looking at what I look at and putting the things on here yourself, you already know what you're looking at. It doesn't look clouded. You know what to pay attention to. So to me, it doesn't look congested, but it'll look better when we go to the 4 hour time frame because it won't be so packed in here. But basically, let's look at this and see that the trend line here is drawn, and then we bounced off of that trend line, held support for over a week here, and then came back, came close, and then it came back and hit it again here. So this is pretty much where we are now, this holding support here. We want to see if it's going to hold support or not. But now what the market is doing here, based off of the Ichimoku system, you got your Kijun-sen here, and then the Kijun-sen flattened out. So the market's flattened out, it's ranging, and the market broke through the Kijun-sen, the level of support here, barely broke through and bounced off of the trend line. Now the Kijun-sen is a level of resistance because the price is below the Kijun-sen on a daily time frame. So when we put that level in here, we want to see price get above that level or bounce below that level or whatever it's going to do as a support or resistance level. Okay, so on the daily time frame, we're still looking pretty bullish, but it looks like things are starting to flatten out and start to range, and then once that happens, we don't know where the market's going to go. I was holding a long bias for a little bit here, but I see some weakness on the daily time frame a little bit starting to develop, and the 4 hour time frame showed some weaknesses last week, and the market did drop. Prior to that drop, the Ichimoku system did show a little bit of weakness in the pair, and I made a video and I talked about the little bit of weaknesses. So don't be surprised about the market dropping, because basically if you know market structure, you're going to get your trend, then you'll get your retrace, then you get your trend, or you get your consolidation, and then the market can drop down. But that's the market structure. The market's going to go up, retrace, go up, retrace, go down, retrace, go down, retrace, or else it's going to range and consolidate. Okay, so just know the market structure. Know that even in this uptrend here, we have pullbacks, because we have this uptrend here, and then we have this pullback here, and then we got an uptrend, market consolidated, then it dropped down, and now we're seeing what the market's going to do here. This is a very important area here, this whole area here where this cloud is, below this cloud and breaking below that cloud. Now you can see this level here. I put a support line right here because you have this bottom here, and so you got that fractal support right there. And then you see where the blue line here is, the dark blue line, that's the Kijun-sen support and resistance. Okay, where it flattened out, that's where I put my line, and I always put a line where the Kijun-sen is at the time on the daily time frame, because when I'm on the 4 hour time frame, I look at that and see where that's going to be. And also you see the line here, this is where the price bounced off of that level 3 times, 1 2 3, so 3 days, well, 3 separate times on the daily time frame. The market hit that level, then finally it broke through, but then it came right back. All right, so we also have a support level up here where the market started to consolidate and range and couldn't break this level. So you have these red lines for your support and resistance levels, and then you got this light blue lines here. These are going to be the bottoms of the bottoms and the tops of the Kumo. These are going to be support and resistance levels also. So when we go to the 4 hour time frame, right now my chart probably looks pretty congested to you, but when we go to the 4 hour time frame, it'll open up a little bit and expand. You'll see a little better. And also these are bottoms where the market flattened out, where the Kumo flattened out. Where the Kumo flattened out, you have your floor there. That's going to be a support and resistance level. So right here it'll be a support level, and then you got it here, it's going to be another support level, and then this final support level. We want to see if that market holds. Now, if the market breaks these levels here, gets below this Kumo here, we got our Kumo breakout daily time frame. We really love this to go down to this level here. Okay, so we want to see if we break this trend line and get through all this stuff right here. I wouldn't make no trades until I'm through here on the daily time frame, that is. But if I go to the 4-hour time frame, and also on this daily time frame, you could see how everything is starting to go sideways. All right, pretty much sideways a little bit. Looks like we're starting to go a little bit sideways. Okay, we're still in a little uptrend, but it's starting to go pretty sideways here, because you have this level here never got broken, and then this low level here. So we stayed in that range. Then the market broke that level a little bit. So in order to be in a trend again, we need to break that level and continue up again. Until then, we're pretty much in this range. Let's go to the 4-hour time frame. 4-hour time frame is the time frame that I trade. So I do look at that daily time frame. I really like to get the market sentiment. But one thing I want to tell you to do is trade your time frame. If you see something happening on your time frame, pretty much understand where your support and resistance levels are and your zones are, but trade your time frame. If you see this market breaking through this level here, put a tight stop loss and trade the breakout. Okay, now on the 4-hour time frame, the market, this dark blue line here is the Kijinsen on the daily time frame. So that's going to be a support and resistance level. So here it's a resistance level. The market can't get up and break through there. It hasn't, and it didn't break through there. And the thing that you see here, the bounce off of there, and now it's coming back. It looks like it's coming back down towards the trend line here. Now these are all the zones from the daily time frame. I would like to see the market get below there. But then if it gets below there, here's the final level that we would really worry about, and that would be right there. And the market gets through there, and we can run for a little bit, hopefully. And then we run that down to this level. This is the level that we're looking at. This is coming off of that daily time frame, off of that fractal level, support level, and that would be right here. I'm looking for the market to break that, and then to get through all of this strong stuff here, and then go. I don't trade anything close to support and resistance levels. What I'm saying is basically I want to be close to that level, but I want to trade the opposite direction of it. So if I'm going to trade, I'm not going to take this trade right here because I'm in the middle of support and resistance. I want to be as close as I can to support or resistance, whichever way I'm going to go. So if I was trading long, well, rather, let's go short. If I'm trading short, let's show you the short, and I want to be close to this level, bounce off of this level, put my stop loss a little bit above here. I don't want to be between these zones, but I do know that maybe the market can move from here to this level, but I have this here. So if I put a trade in right here, then I have all this stop loss here, wasted space, and then I have to go a little bit above that level. So if you get as close as possible, then you don't have this wasted space, stop loss space. You're keeping your risk to a minimum. Okay, you're close to this resistance level. You keep your risk to a minimum by staying as close as possible to support and resistance levels as you can. All right. Now, one thing, we don't want the market to get too far away from the Kijinsen, because when it does, it's gonna pull back. It's gonna try to equalize and pull back and get close to the Kijinsen again, and then take off. So if you're like on the Kijinsen, you don't want to be too much over 300 pips, and if you're trading and you see that you're about 250 pips away from that Kijinsen or so, then you know that maybe there's going to be a pullback, because this market wants to equalize. This system wants to get back to normal, equalize, get price back to it. So you have to be aware of that also. Okay. On this pair, I'm not really looking to do anything right now. I mean, some people trade this trend line. You can trade this trend line. You can, if it comes down, bounces off of it, you could trade this. But see, then I wouldn't be trading with the Ichimoku system. You know what I'm saying? I'd be trading this trend line support. So if I'm trading the Ichimoku system is telling me to go short. Everything short, I'm going to trade the break of this, right? But then you have these levels here. Okay, you can trade the break of this, keep your stop loss tight, be aware of these levels, see what the market does. If it bounces off, comes back up, your stop loss is still tight, you don't lose much. If it breaks that level, then you're good. It comes down to this level, okay? And then it comes down to this level. Maybe you move your stop loss down, and then you hopefully it breaks this level and we drop and run that way. Now the only way we'll go long again is if the market breaks this upper level up here. We want to see the market break this level, and let's put that line in there to show that. We want the market to break this level up here. So pretty much we want to break that level. So that'll be 132,944. So it'll be the 32,944 mark right here. You want to break that level. And if the market breaks that level, that fractal level, then we go. Alright, that's the Euro 4-hour time frame. New Zealand dollar, Swiss franc. Probably not a lot of people trading this, but I'm trading this right now. I'm on the 4-hour time, the daily time frame right here. You can see the support zone, support and resistance zone right here. This is going to be resistance because the market's below it. You can see this support zone here. I got it off of the fractal level low. I got another one right here off of this fractal level low. So these are going to be resistance zones. If the market on the daily time frame breaks this last fractal level here, you take this short and you look at this level down here. All right, maybe you move it back to this level. There's a flat Kumo top right here, and I'm going to tell you about these flat Kumos in a little bit here. Let's go to the 4-hour time frame. Well, on this here, we're pretty much in a pretty good range. You can see the market came up, and now it came back down to this level, came up to this level, back down to here, didn't break that level here, and stayed in the middle of that level, went back up to that level again, and then it barely broke that level and came back up. This is the daily time frame, so we're going to go to the 4-hour time frame. Now the market is trying to see about this Kumo right here. Is this going to hold as support on the daily time frame? If the market breaks above that, then maybe we move and run up to this level. But I'm on a trade on the 4-hour time frame, and you can see on the 4-hour time frame, I'm making right now, I have 44 pips on this trade. I made this trade Friday morning, and what I made the trade off of was the support of the flat Kumo right here. You see this flat Kumo right here? Now the thing that I need to be aware of, looking on the 4-hour time frame, this is becoming a pretty bullish market. You have your price above the cloud. You have a TK cross right here that says bullish cross. You have Chico span above price. You would love to see Chico span get out through this cloud here. Okay, and then also you have this Kumo twist right here, which was a bullish twist. Now the market's making support and resistance levels, and this is a flat level that you would look at. Now I'm going to show you a few things on this time frame about the Ichimoku system that I probably haven't talked about. Okay, I'm going to show you something. Let's put this here. And then we put this. So let's say this is the sun right here. Okay, this is the sun, these are the clouds. Okay, if you have the sun here beating down on something this way, what's going to be behind that? A shadow. A shadow is going to be behind that. Okay, so the sun is beating down, and behind that you would have a Kumo shadow, and the Kumo shadows are going to be the flat bottoms behind price, or the flat tops, depending on which way. Now if price was going, look, if price was down here and you had a shadow, shadows are always going to be behind, so behind price. Now what a shadow is you see this flat top right here, That's a shadow. Now what happens with shadows? It's going to be a resistance line or support level. And let me show you. I will put a shadow right here, and you could put a little shadow right here. This is a little level. But behind price, immediately behind price, you have flat levels like this. So this would be a shadow right here. And we're concerned with these shadows because these are support and resistance levels. And you can see this shadow right here where it's flat. Price came up to that level and it didn't break that level. It bounced right off of that level and came back down. Okay, and then it's coming back up, and I need price to break this level, and I need to see it get above this level. Now also this is a shadow right here, right there, and then a little shadow right here. These flat bottoms and flat tops, depending on how the Kumo is going to be a Kumo shadow, and you need to be aware of those. Those are support and resistance zones. Okay, support and resistance areas. All right, so I'd love to see the market break above this. Once it breaks above this level, then I feel a lot safer, and I can look for it to run up to this way, to this support and resistance level here, and I can start moving my stop loss up. My stop loss is down at the Kijinsen right here. All right, and I'm making 44 pips right there. But that's what if you ever hear about a Kumo shadow, that's what a Kumo shadow is. Shadows are these flat areas on the Kumo behind the market, and those levels are support and resistance areas. Okay, so just be aware of those, and that's all that really is. Let's go to the New Zealand dollar, US dollar on the daily time frame here. And again, you see my support and resistance levels, and then you see my trend line. So here's my horizontal support levels and my trend line support levels. You can see price came down and bounced off of this cloud, and you can see this long wick candle on the daily time frame. That's a signal of that the bulls pushed this market up. The bears dropped it all the way down to here, and the bulls pushed it all the way back up and closed here. So now that shows strength for the bullish market, and we want to see price stay above this level here. We want to see price close above this candle here and then take off, because this is a support and resistance level right here. You can see where it's bouncing right here. So this level is a resistance line right here. We want price to close above that level, and then that would be a good time to get into the trade and maybe take it up to this level. Okay, you can see the trend line support. You can see thing here is you got a crossover on your you got a TK crossover right here, which is a bearish one, and it could be because basically this market is starting to range pretty much, but we like to see that get back above the we like to see the Tenkan-sen get above the Kijin-sen to be going long. The Chico span is above price and above the Kumo, and we got our Kumo twist right here, which is already a bullish sign. Now the thing about it here, let's show one more thing here. Here's a support level based off of this flat cloud. Now this isn't going to be called a shadow because it's in front of the market, so we just call this the floor right here. I'll tell you how I trade these later, what I call this really, but I'm not going to get into that because I want to do one separate thing about that. But this is a flat support level right here, and it's building support and making a support level, and you'll see when the market comes there if you hold support or if it breaks through. Okay, so you have these levels. You want to see the market get out of all this congested area, move up here and start getting into some open space so you can get into a trade. So we go to the daily time, the 4-hour time frame. And on the 4-hour time frame, we got a couple mixed signals. You got a TK crossover right here in the cloud, and it's a bearish sign. You got a Kumo twist, which was bullish, but it looks like it's trying to make another twist, which looks like it's going to be bearish. But you got Chico span above above the price but below the cloud, but you got price inside the cloud. What we want to see is price come up and close outside of the cloud. We have a Kumo breakout. We take this long. Start looking at support and resistance levels. Look at this level here. Price breaks above this level. We want to look at this level next to break, and then we hope it breaks and goes up to this level. If we break this Kumo here, we put our stop loss a little below this level, or put it at this Kijinsen. So we break here, put your stop loss at the Kijinsen right here, and then you take that all the way up to here. First here, and then here. Here is the fractal level. This is going to be resistance, and then this is your next resistance level. Okay, also you got your Kumo shadow back here. Okay, be aware of those. And here's where this shadow is right here, when the market honored that shadow right there. See that? This is it right here. You can see where the market came up to that level and bounced back down. Alright, so be aware of those Kumo shadows. Let's go to Aussie dollar daily time frame. A lot of good things looking on this chart. Craziness. But here's your trend line. So you got your trend line support. Price broke that level and then came back down to this cloud. Look at this cloud, how flat this cloud is. So this is support level right here. The market didn't break through and didn't close below. Even though this cloud isn't that thick, the market still didn't get through there and came back up all the way up here. Broke back through the Kijinsen and then came back up to the trend line again. And now it bounced off, closed below the, here where it closed above the Kijinsen. Now it came back down to the Kijinsen, held right there. Price came all the way back down, but then the bulls pushed this all the way back up. This is a big wick candle, and this showing weakness again on the for the bears here. So it looks like a bullish market with that long pin bar there. But you have some signals that are showing us that this is a starting to change into a bearish market. But price is above the Kumo, so that's the main thing. We're bullish, okay? Until price goes below that cloud, we're going to be considered bullish. But we go on the 4-hour time frame, and I want you guys to start trading your time frame. Be aware of the time frame ahead, but trade your time frame. Look at your signals on your time frame and trade it, because here's a breakout. You trade that breakout, but now price is getting pushed back down. You know that you have this support level here, okay? Rather this resistance level. And you can see this flat cloud right here, and that's where that level is holding. This is your Kumo shadow right here. That level's holding right there. And now you want to see price get above this level to feel safe. If you got into the trade right here, you're still good. You got your stop loss down here, but you want to see price get above that level and then break through these levels and then move up to this level. All right, that's on the 4-hour time frame. Everything on this time frame. Let's look at our signals. Okay, you got a bullish cross, you got a bullish twist, you got a bullish TK crossover right here. You got price above the cloud, main thing, and then you got your Chico span above price, but it's below this cloud. We want to see it get above that cloud. Have Kumo out. We have the Chico span out in some space and then running. So Chico span be out in space and running. Price will be out there and running with it. All right. So that's on the Aussie dollar 4-hour time frame. Let's go to Euro New Zealand dollar daily time frame. Again, you see my support and resistance zones. You got a zone here and a zone there. This is on the daily time frame right here. You can see the market's pretty much in that range, and that's a pretty big range. We still make some trades on the 4-hour time frame, but you can see this flat Kumo up here again. Price is holding that level. That's support and resistance level. So here's the support level, and we want to, if price breaks through that level and starts to close below that level, then this becomes a bearish market, and we take this down to this level, next level. We just trade support and resistance levels. Go to the next level. All right. So let's go to the 4-hour time frame. Looking on the 4-hour time frame, everything is bearish. And here's where I would get into a trade, and here's how I would trade this. Okay, I would put a level here. I want to see price break below this level, because here's your you break out of the cloud here, and then price retraced. Okay, it didn't get above this level right here. So that would have been a good area for your stop loss. You see where these wicks are, and made a support level right here, made a resistance level right there. and then, or else you could put your stop loss at the Kijinsen. A lot of times the Kijinsen's far away. Now see how far away it is right now. So I don't know how many pips that is, but it's a little bit of a distance. So we want to see what's going to happen is price is going to range for a while till the Kijinsen catches back up to it. Once it catches up to it, maybe it'll go the other way or to go this way. Now, in order for us to trade short, we want to see it break this level right here. So we put a line there, right? You put a line right here, and once price breaks that level, closes below that level, you take that down to this level right here. Now, be aware of this flat bottom right here. You see it making a level right here. This is going to be all support zones right here. We want price to get below that level, and then you could take that long. Take that short. All right. But now you see the market, if it does go the other way, you can see it making this flat bottom here, this flat top here with the thick cloud. So price has to go through that cloud, and then it has this top to contend with. So we'll see what happens, but if you break this level and close below that level, then you want to take this short. All the signals are calling for a short trade here. You got your Kumo twist, you got price below cloud, you got your TK crossover, which was bearish, you got Chico span below price and inside the cloud, and if it breaks outside of that cloud, good signal to write that thing down to here. All right, Euro New Zealand dollar 4-hour time frame, pound yen 4-hour time frame. Just want to show you something here on a daily time frame. You can see prices far away from the far from the Kijinsen. This is why I wanted to bring this chart up, because price is getting really far from the Kijinsen, and it's about, let's see how many pips away it is. For price to be 437 pips, 443 pips away, I would be afraid to take a long trade here. I need some equilibrium here. I need price to get back closer to the Kijinsen to equalize this back out, equalize this market, equalize this Ichimoku system back out. It's very far for to get into a long trade. It's overextended. So you go into the 4-hour time frame. All the signs are still bullish on there, by the way. But you could see here on the 4-hour time frame, all right, price is not as far away. All right, price is closer. So if I'm trading my time frame, price just recently bounced off of here. This would have been a beautiful trade right here to get into the Kumo to the Kijinsen bounce right here. So you have a Kijinsen bounce, boom, price bounces, you take that, you put your stop loss a little bit below. Now what I see is the market moved up. It moved up. Now it looks like the market is going to sit. It's setting levels here. So here's the bottom, and then here's the top. Is it going to stay between those two levels? We want to see price break above this level to get into a trade if we're not in the trade already. All right. When price came down and bounced off of this Tenkan-sen, that was a good level to get into the trade. Put your stop loss below this Kijinsen here. Now, if it ranges for a while, there could be some possibility of downside momentum movement here, and you have this flat bottom here. So you got a floor here. Watch out for that support level here. This is going to be a thick cloud. Price has to come through that cloud. All right, but like I said, you had this bounce here. It's making this bottom here, and it made this top here. So you want to see if price is going to stay within that realm. So what I do here, if I'm not in a trade from the bounce here, then I just want to see price get outside of this triangle here. This break outside of this rectangle here. We want to see price break outside of this rectangle, and once it breaks outside of this rectangle, then we can go long. Because what can happen here is this market starts ranging, bounces here, comes back up to this level, bounce, come back down, bounce, and then finally gets inside the cloud and then starts falling. Same thing that you saw on the euro dollar on the 4-hour time frame. This is what the market did. Stayed in that range for a little while, it flattened out, and then the market came and broke back down. All right, let's go to the US dollar Swiss franc daily time frame. Daily time frame, you see this top here, and then we got a trend line. You can see where the market bounced off of that trend line, came back down, came pretty close, bounced off of the Kijinsen right here, and then went back down, and then it bounced off of the trend line here, and now it's bouncing off of the Kijinsen. Kijinsen's holding as support right now. Now we want to see price break up through here and above this on the daily time frame to trade that on the daily time frame. This is pretty bearish market here. Let's go to the 4 hour time frame. 4 hour time frame, you can see the bounce off of the trend line here. You can see how far price got away from the Kijinsen right here, and look what the market did. It pulled back. Price got too far away from the Kijinsen. It pulled back, tried to get a little closer. Kijinsen's flattening out, showing you that the market's in a range, or consolidating, whatever. And you could see all the signs are still bullish here, because you got your Kumo twist bullish, you got TK crossover. You can consider this above the cloud where it came out right here, so that's a strong bullish signal. Price is above the cloud, and the Chico span is above price and the cloud, so that's very strong. Price is above the cloud, but price got far away from the Kijinsen right here, so you want to be aware of that. If you get into a trade, you want price to be closer to the Kijinsen than that. That's really far away up here. You wouldn't have gotten to this break here. I would have probably not taken the break, because I see how far away we are from the Kijinsen. So if it broke, I would probably wait for it to retrace and maybe hit that line again, so that the Kijinsen can catch up. But now it looks like the market pulled back here, so we are closer to price. I mean, we are closer to the Kijinsen. So if the Kijinsen can catch up, the market ranges here for a while, then breaks this level. That'd be a nice trade. Then you start looking for your levels to take. Here's your Kumo shadow. One shadow right here, small shadow. Looks like it's a little bit of a support level, resistance level, support level right here. So not very strong level right there. But that's how I trade that. You got the trend line there showing you that you get that break. Basically, that's going to be right here on your fractal level. Breaks that fractal level. Hopefully, Kijinsen's closer to price there, and then that's a nice long trade there. Pound dollar, pound dollar. Here we go. Daily time frame. All right, on the daily time frame, you can see this flat Kumo top. I put my light blue line there. You can see our trend line here, and then you can see our horizontal support here. All right, everything on this chart is still bullish. Chico span is starting to get inside of this price here, which would be consolidation, and then we don't want it to get below there. But if we're going to go short, we want to see price get below all this and then take that short. But that's on the daily time frame. So let's go to the 4 hour time frame. Looking at the 4 hour time frame, you can see my support and resistance levels. This light blue line, like I told you, is going to be the bottom of the Kumo on the daily time frame. So I know that's a strong level. Now look how far price is from your Kijinsen. Again, really don't like to get in trades when it's that far away. If this broke this fractal level and Kijinsen was that far away, I probably wouldn't really ride it out, because I feel it would only go to this level, because this has to equalize back out. You know, you want the Kijinsen's going to come back and pull this price right back to this right back to it. So the Kijinsen's going to be like a magnet and pull this price right back to it. So it's kind of far away right now. Not a good level to be getting into a trade, even if it does break this level. Everything on here is bearish. Got your Kumo twist, got your crossover, you got price below Kumo, main thing, and you got Chiku below price and the Kumo. Be nice to see this Kijinsen catch up the price, see a nice pullback, and then go again. Love to see it pull back and then go. Okay, and finally we're going to go to the US dollar, yen on the daily time frame. And I just wanted to show you this again on the daily time frame. Look how far away price is from the Kijinsen. On the daily time frame, not a good trade right there. 300 pips away, that's like the max I want to be to get into a trade. 300 pips, I wouldn't even take the trade. It's too far on the daily time frame for me. Now if I go to this 4 hour time frame, and everything on that daily time frame is bullish, and everything on this time frame is bullish. Price was far away on the daily time frame. Now look what's happening on the 4 hour time frame. The Kijinsen is flattening out, and price is starting to range. everything's starting to become back into equilibrium. All right, this is all a bullish market right here. But once you see price starting to range like this, it's making a level, a high level here, and then the market start is going to have range in that level. If the market range is in that level, we want to see it break that level before we go long again. Okay, so you want to see it break this fractal level. It's making this resistance level here. So you put your line there so you know that, know where to look, you know that you got support and resistance there. This is my fractal level. I want to see price break that level and close above that level before I get into the trade, right? So we need price to do that. I'd like to see this see this Kijinsen get closer to price again and then break off out of here. We don't want to stay this far away from the Kijinsen because eventually it's going to pull back to that level. All right, so what's going to happen, and more than likely, is this level is going to hold, and this market's going to range for a little while this market tries the equilibrium back out again till the price gets closer to the Kijinsen. When it gets back close again, then maybe it goes up, or maybe it breaks outside of that range that it's going to make, from what I think it's going to do. But let's see if it does that. It could still break outside of here, but remember, on that daily time frame, we were far from the Kijinsen, so that can be an issue. All right, traders, that's about it. This 36 minutes of Ichimoku training. So just hopefully I'm helping somebody. I'm just winging it, showing you what I'm doing when I'm looking at my charts. And sometimes I like to sit down and prepare something that I want to talk about. When I see things, I like to sit down and try to discuss it with you. But I just wanted to show you those things, looking at all the time frames and how to just break it down. And you see me doing this all the time, and this is what you need to be doing. But I'm in this trade here, and I really would love to see this price go above this level here and close above that level, and then I can start moving my stop loss up. I move this stop loss from this Kijinsen up to this fractal low right here, this fractal level support right here. So price breaks that, I move it up to here. Okay, and then basically I'm even here, get my stop loss back to even, but I'll never let it go back to negative ever. Once I'm on 46 pips already, never let it go back to even. So hopefully we break this level, and then we'll see what happens. Traders, hope I'm helping you guys. Hopefully I'm being a blessing. Hope I'm not just blabbing off and talking about nonsense. If I am, let me know, and we'll just take time and prepare more lessons and do stuff like that. But this is how I break my charts down. This is what I look at, and this is how I look to get into trades. So traders, till next time, hopefully I'm a blessing to you, and God bless. So long.